I can't believe people weren't dancing in the chat. I even texted, is the song playing? I don't know. Hold on. Pull up the waiting on the chat to load on the YouTube side. Oh, Ash, that's wrong. I've had it stuck in my head because there's this little girl that was singing it and on YouTube Shorts, and it just keeps playing over in my shorts over and over, so it's stuck. It's a dad and his little girl is standing at the refrigerator. It's really good. I'd show it, but I'm still paying my dues to YouTube. And I appreciate the ones that are here so far. And hey, Emerald Girl, good to see you. Calamity. I'm trying to scroll up to see Shamat, Jamie, Crafts, Knitting, Jamie, Jolie, Freeside, howdy, howdy. Dolly, good to see you. Dory, who's Viv? Hey, Jackie. Crafts, I thought I say hi already. Debbie Johnson, Tara. Hey, Mystery All 98, good to see you. Pussycat, good to see you. Wonderland Alice, really good to see you. I shared the live. I just learned how to the other day. Oh, hey, Nana Patty. Hey, Dale, how are you? Body Cat, hello, my friend. Nana L. I don't. Wendy is going to be joining us because I think she's just exhausted from the visit. And hey, Adventures with Beth. Nope, I didn't get anything from YouTube, Shamat. Um, I don't know how it works, and I don't know why, but uh, I got paid last month, and this month on the 21st is 0. So any money that was super chatted or the memberships that went through, none of it I got. I got 0, and it sucks. It just sucks. Thank you for asking. Hey, thing one. So the other night, hey, Ivy Lynn, I was Vivian Sanchez. I played that for Vivian Sanchez the day she won the internet. Oh, okay, okay, I got you. Hey, Olivia. Um, the other night, and I had forgotten. Well, thank you, Shamat, so much. I'm excited that you're here. Yeah, I did Adventures with Beth. I sure did. hmm Um, but I have a little over 60 days, 60 something days till I can reapply. And I think, oh, but I mean, it sucks. This has been, I, I don't even want to talk about it. Hey, Carlos, good to see you. I forgot about this interview and I watched it years ago. Now, when when he first wrote the book, If I Did It, and if you see the cover of this live, that is the cover of the book. And the if is way down, way down there in the eye. No, they did get, well, the reason they gave was reused content, and I had uploaded some shorts and I didn't change them. I broke the rules. I thought, I don't know why I thought that was okay, but I did, and live and learn. Right, Pussycat. Because OJ thought he was going to get all the money from this book. And I'd say this book made a lot of money because there is a confession in the book. And but then the Goldmans came out and said, he can't profit off this murder. Back then, the Son of Sam law was still in progress. I think it's been changed now. And hey, Cajun lady, you've never seen this? It's okay, thing one. It happens. It just sucks. Smooth operator. Okay. All right. So I came across it the other night and I just watched one part of it and I probably should have found that, but it was a body language expert and da da da. Hey, Florida Gray. Well, not only is he guilty, he admits to it. So he did it. Sorry, I usually only listen. Hey, Natalie. Yes, he did it. Absolutely, he did it. And we'll just jump right in. I will share it. And this is his whole interview. We'll probably speed it up and we can probably fast forward. I don't know how much of this is in there before he gets to that chapter because this is long. And I know we don't want to be here all night, obviously.
To me, and when I look back at my life, other than the deaths of my loved ones, along with Nicole, my daughter, my mom, I always said it was the most depressing and sad night of my life because we had been to a New Year's party. We're home.
I always said this was the most depressing, sad night of my life.
So intoxicated, we were very affectionate. But somehow in the middle of this affection, she asked me about some earrings.
That night, the Simpsons had been partying with OJ's friend, the pro football star Marcus Allen, and his then fiancée, Catherine. OJ says it was a comment from...
I think we can move. Because that's talking about the first...
party, and it just sort of hang. That's good. What I did, I got physical. I was wrong. Nicole had admitted that she initiated it. And somehow I came out of all of that because of that night as the poster boy of an abuser.
The Simpson marriage was turned.
He always said, okay, so in the book, somebody said this, and I think it was a great statement. He does blame her for every bit in the book of any physical abuse. He blames her. So he murdered her in real life, and then he tried to murder her again in the book. But everybody sees through this. Just, I think they do. There's some that don't, but
turbulent from the beginning, and things seem to go from bad to worse.
Yeah, she was beautiful.
Following the violent New Year's Eve incident, life went on. There were family trips, Christmas celebrations, and an expensive renovation of their Rockingham home. But Nicole's friends and family say
we can definitely move forward through this. Hi, Lacey. Hi, Cheyenne. Good to see you. Because she was 18 and he was 30 with a pregnant wife. Yeah. This interview was the most horrific thing. Oh, I know, Ivy Lynn. Well, besides write the book.
Breaking point after years of physical abuse and infidelity. And in January 1992, she told OJ she wanted a separation.
She didn't really want a divorce. She just wanted to separate.
Now, this is his interview. Okay, it says 2006. So this was when he wrote the book, and they did not release this interview until 2018.
And I pushed it. I said, no, we're going to get lawyers because we'll have at least 10 months to decide if it's going to become a divorce or not. If we want to change our mind, we will. But I'm not going to go through 10 months and then decide to get a divorce and go through 10 more months.
Her fault. He decided. Sure, OJ.
Nicole rented a 4-bedroom.
See, y'all, if I'd ever gotten him on panel, I would have smacked it down. Hey, Mellow One.
House for herself
Charlie.
and
He
the
is such a
children
liar.
on Gretna Green Way, half a mile from the home she had shared with OJ on Rockingham Avenue.
When she asked for the separation in 1992, you write in the book, I felt like I'd been kicked in
It was shocking. It was absolutely shocking. Her and her mother had been to New York a few weeks
Do y'all believe that? He was shocked that she wanted.
before that. She had talked about how happy she was. She had
Me too, Crafts. Me too. I know, no name.
gotten her body
Nuts.
completely back. She was looking great. She was finally wearing all her fancy stuff. Well, I realized, no, it was because she had a boyfriend. I didn't know
That
this
must
at
have
the
really
time.
got you
Well, I didn't
right.
know
It's
she had a
like,
boyfriend. Of course it hurts. I didn't
She didn't have a boyfriend. Y'all see how he's look what he's gonna do through this interview is he's gonna slander her name.
think it would happen. And for 2 or 3 months, I pursued her to no end until I saw her with another guy. And at that point, what are you going to do? A girl's with another guy? I mean, you'd be an idiot.
Notice how he
OJ
laughs. How he didn't care. He wasn't jealous. Not OJ.
hoped they would eventually reunite. But with Nicole dating other men, he didn't contest her when she filed for divorce just 2 months after separating. In divorce court, there was testimony about the couple's history of domestic violence.
one of Nicole's therapists said it's no secret Nicole was battered regularly all the time. How do you
Thank you for the tip, Shamat. I love you too. Don't stream longer. Oh. in an hour because it's minimum wage. Oh, sweetie, thank you so much. I got 2 tips. Thank you.
respond to that?
I want to say your
Well,
real name.
Nicole made it clear during our divorce, under oath, I might add, that this lady was crazy. She had told me, this lady's crazy. She wants me to say these things about you. And she wouldn't do it. That's why she wouldn't take the stand at our divorce,
For
because
sure.
they wanted her to say these things to get more money in the divorce. And what people don't realize that under oath during her deposition, when they asked if I had ever been physical with her, and this is at a time she's trying to get in my pocket, and this is at a time she's been advised, say this, and it's going to help. But she
Hey,
wouldn't lie.
Devious.
That's the great thing. She wouldn't lie about it. And she told them,
Armchair this on this morning on Crime TV. Oh, I didn't say that. I watched. He even blamed her when he got arrested for the robbery. Oh, I don't know about
that was
that.
the one incident that I was physical with her.
Was she
Can we make a
afraid?
deal?
Only one ever, he says. Only one incident ever that he was physical with her. You know, that's her fault. Nobody would take the stand and lie for her.
No,
Was
she
she
wouldn't
afraid?
lie. It's just that she wouldn't lie. You know, she wasn't going to lie in front of me and on the stand.
When
I'm not
you-
being afraid. There was nothing to be afraid of.
What happened next showed Nicole's fears may have been well-founded. Even as the couple waited for their divorce to be finalized, Nicole's close friends say OJ began stalking her. One incident occurred while she was on a date with Keith Zlomswich, the owner of Mezzaluna, a popular local restaurant.
You write in the book about Keith and that
They got the sales from this book, no name, and they got a little bit of money. Hopefully, they're going to get a lot now. That's what I hope.
that night. Tell me
Yeah.
that scene and what happened.
A lot of this I didn't find out until after, right?
Mhm.
From her closest friends. After my, you know, 'cause I didn't see these people, right? We had once in a while seen each other. She'd come by the house, and so it wasn't like we didn't have relations in the early part of our separation.
Now, according to him, they had a lot of relations during the separation. They would get back together, blah blah blah. Hey, Rosebud.
So I had run into her, which they tried to say was stalking, because her and some friends were at a opening of a restaurant. I was there with like 16 people. So I'm like, if I'm stalking you with my crew.
She
We're
didn't
all
speak. I don't think she's ever spoken out. Mm-mm.
there too, you know. And I saw her, and I went over and spoke to her and her group. Then I went out with my group to a party, but on the way home, I'd say I'll see if she's home, because if she's still up. I don't know how late she stayed out. Maybe, I can get some. In any event, as I approached her front door, she has a window right along the walkway there.
Oh, I remember reading
I
this
can hear
part in the
something,
book.
and I can see movement. And when I look,
Look how nicely. Oh, I was just gonna go. Hey, Nat Chloe. We talked about OJ on a stream. Yes, I know. I still think he was listening.
and obviously see she was involved in something. I didn't know who it was with or what. And I hit the door and left.
When you knocked on the door,
No, I just hit the door.
when you hit
I
the
wanted
door,
them to be alert, be aware that somebody's around and maybe they'd move or something. That's why I didn't even look. I just hit the door twice and left. It's funny. I realized when I got home, maybe for the first time since we separated, I slept like a baby. I'm just weird. It's really weird. I
Yeah,
think what
that's
you
weird. That is,
do, you worry so much about something like this happening. That's what had me worried. That's what I didn't want to have. That's what I couldn't picture at night and would make me wake up. And I was reading all of these books about how to heal a broken heart, and from that.
do y'all believe that? Do y'all think that OJ read one book on how to heal a broken heart, or did he read books on how to kill and get away with it? Think about that. He absolutely didn't wasn't sitting home reading self-help books. He was dating women and stalking Nicole. He just this is where ooh, because in the beginning he's like, I found out there was another guy, so hey, I moved on, after just a couple of months. And then he comes out with she filed the woman, she filed for divorce, not OJ. She did.
That moment on, I was fine with it.
The next morning,
He was fine with it, slept like a baby.
Returned to Nicole's house to confront her in the presence
Right.
of her lover. Here's how he describes the conversation.
Oh, I bet he went over there nicely, brought some croissants.
But the next day we talked about it, and that's when we had promised each other when we separated that one of us was going to get involved with anybody, we would alert the other one.
Right.
She said it was a mistake. We had been drinking and da 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 da. And I said, well, why did you tell me that this was the nature of your relationship with this guy?
Jim Clemente joins us. He's retired FBI supervisory special agent and a profiler, and also a former prosecutor for New York City.
See, I feel like I'm all those things except
okay. He starts by saying, almost it's ridiculous. They called it stalking, and then goes on to specifically describe a.
That's true.
Dating, and so was OJ. He had women coming and going, including the day after catching Nicole with someone else.
Right.
The next day is I call a friend of mine, a Hawaiian Tropic girl that I had met from the past and who I'd run into, and she said, I heard you and your wife were apart. And I said, well, sort of. And I said, well, I'll call you. And I called her. I was going to get some, right? Finally, after this, at any event.
Thank you a little bit, and thank you so much, my sweet friend. Thank you for the tips. Thank you.
She came over, and we were upstairs, and there was somebody at my house.
Hey, Brenda Hart, good to see you. Where you been?
Marcus Catherine there at the door. They had been trying to fix me up with this one model, and she was out of town, but they had brought her best friend over to talk to me. And when I walked downstairs, it was Paula Barbieri. Paula was shocked when the girl came down. The girl, she said, was beautiful. But her and I just hit it off. I mean, we just hit it off.
They just hit it off. Nicole who?
And we spoke on the phone because she traveled a lot for a month. And about a month later, we really became involved. And
Paula Barbieri would become OJ's on and off girlfriend for the next 2 and.
Now, I do think that she spoke out about him grabbing her a few times. I could be wrong about that. I'll have to look it up, but I think she did.
A half years, staying with him throughout the murder trial. But he says that even as he got serious with Paula, he never stopped talking to Nicole.
Of course, because he was stalking her.
During that time, you start dating Paula, and you write about Nicole's reaction to your dating Paula.
It's funny because she was dating various people, and she would call me and talk to me about it.
Hey, now keep in mind, she was dating various people. This is where he's slandering. If you think about it, he's trying to make her character look bad. Various people, not a guy.
It started to reach a point where it became irritating. It became a problem. Because one minute she'd call me and I'd give her advice, and then she'll call out of the blue because of something real stupid and give me a hard time, right? So I had made up my mind.
I mean, y'all know, that whenever you want relationship advice, you always call your ex. I mean, I did.
that
Shit.
I really didn't want her to call me unless it had to do with the kids. And it was kind of irritating to Paula also.
To have
Yeah, why are you
Nicole.
talking to your ex-wife about our relationship? Paula used to say, why are you talking to her about her boyfriends? She got
Look how jovial he's trying to look in this. Do y'all see how he's really trying to look jovial and just bouncing his whole body like he's all happy?
pregnant during that period of time and called me, not to ask what to do, but I think she just needed
Exactly,
somebody to
Ash.
talk to.
Did you feel at that time that you still had love for her,
Welcome,
affection for
Bella.
I
her?
still had love. See, I had been with her at that time.
From Buffalo and wish they would remove his name from our stadium. I also got his autograph back in the day. He's a big man. Yeah. It's hard to tell how big OJ is, but he was a big man.
For what, 14, 15 years. I felt she was the love of my life. Even though we were splitting, she was the love of my life. And
Was she
I never
pregnant?
really thought, I never even really thought it was over. Even after we split the last time, I knew her and I would always have this in our lives that we would cross. You know, just
No, you knew if you couldn't have her, no one else could. That's what you knew, OJ.
was the nature of our relationship.
You said that she got pregnant. Was she pregnant by you at the time?
No, oh no, whoever she was dating. I
Slander.
don't want to say the guy's name because I don't know for sure. But
Did that upset you?
no. I even wonder why she called and told me. You know,
Now you
it's
write.
something I didn't need to know.
Let's see. Hi there. Hey. I can't read your. I'm having a hard time seeing the names because I'm having to watch the chat on my phone. He looks sort of incredulous in front. She looks. She probably is because wait till we get to the confession part. She probably is. This guy said, slaughtered, and I hate to use that word, but it's the truth. Slaughtered two people, and is sitting there laughing about,
At that time, Paul and I had sort of figuratively ridden off into the sunset.
OJ
he could barely get that out. Huh?
says to appease Paula and focus exclusively on their
Hey,
new
Tyler.
relationship, he cut off all contact with Nicole.
I was living in New York half the year, and I happened to be in LA, and the phone rang, and I picked it up and it was her, and I had successfully avoided her for a month and a half, 2 months, right?
Oh, I bet you're so disappointed. If only they had caller ID. Oh, wait.
And she says hi, and hey, how you doing? And why are you avoiding me? I said, look, it's not that I'm avoiding you. I just don't want to hear the stuff. And she said she needed to speak to me, and I finally said, okay, speak. No, I need to talk to you to speak to you. And I said, look, let me call you back. I got to take this other call, which was no call. I went back to sleep. Shortly after that, my kids ran into the house and ran in and gave me a hug and gave me a letter as well as tapes of our wedding, and ran out to their playground that I had built for them in the front. And when I went out to be with the kids, she was there.
Now, I will say this. I think it's been confirmed that, thank you, No Name. I'm glad you ran across it too. I think it's been confirmed that I don't know if this is the exact thing that happened, and we'll never know, but he they did try to work on their marriage.
So I figured I can't keep avoiding her. Right? So I went over and said, okay, what do you want to do? Let's take a walk. So, 2-3 steps. She said, I want to come home. I missed you. I love you. And I was like, how could you love me? You haven't seen me. We barely seen each other the last
Hey,
8-9
blonde.
months. And what do you mean you love me? She said, well, I never told you I didn't love you. I said, yeah, but you said you weren't in love with me. I'm sure a lot of guys have heard this, right? And it made no sense, but I kind of let her know that I wasn't interested in getting back together. But I did think we should spend time together with the kids.
Oh, hell. He told her he wasn't interested in getting back together. That's not true. That ain't even in the book.
Which I would do when Paula was out of town, right?
OJ claimed it was for the kids that he and Nicole began to spend more time together. But sometimes just the two of them went.
Yeah, I actually knew that's how Rodney King died. And the reason I knew that Rodney King was having a hard time is because I used to be obsessed with I guess I still am obsessed with reality TV. But he was on Celebrity Rehab. And he was an alcoholic.
went out alone. He recalls one evening that would change everything.
She was alone and she looked lonely, and I said, let's go have a bite to eat. I was telling her about Marcus Allen's fiance, Catherine, who was
he was doing her a favor. She looked lonely. Let's go eat. Come on.
getting married. I was hosting their wedding at my house, and Nicole was crying, and then it got to the point of,
Look, I've always heard Face of America that it was Kardashian that took the briefcase.
I said, well, it can't be that sad, right? And she said that Marcus was not my friend. And I didn't quite understand what she was saying. Then it kind of dawned on me. I said, did something happen with you and Marcus? And she says, yes. And I said, check. Can I have a check, please?
Yeah, he
when I
said,
asked her, why did you tell me this?
look how nicely. I said, excuse me, ma'am. Can I get my check? I'm not mad or anything. Yeah, I'm not mad. My friend Marcus and my wife had it. Whatever.
She said, well, he keeps calling. He won't leave me alone. And I said, well, threaten to tell Catherine.
How did you feel about Marcus Allen? This is your friend.
Well, Marcus came over when he came back in town and apologized. My lawyers were very
I do have to say, I think this was admitted. I'm not sure, though. It's been a long time since I went.
upset with me that I hadn't told them that, because they said these guys are trying to paint you as a jealous, crazed guy. And did this really happen? I said, yeah, it happened. Everybody knew it happened. Nicole's best friends knew it happened.
To this day, Marcus Allen denies that he ever slept with Nicole, but OJ insists that he did.
How did that make you
That
feel?
night ended, well, hey, I wasn't married to her. I thought it was wrong because she had always been, really, honestly, she had always been the moral compass of our group of friends. I was a little baffled. And that night, actually, after I dropped her off, something really kind of happened that night that started my downfall as I think about it, but I prefer not to talk about it here.
I bet. You don't want to talk about your downfall. Yeah, I wouldn't either. It was a pretty big one. Stupid.
I really don't want to talk about it here. I really don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
What happened, OJ claims, is that he and Nicole slept together, which he wrote in the book was like an addict having a relapse. The couple, now divorced, agreed to continue living apart, but try to reconcile. For the next few months, sometimes he spent the night at her place, sometimes she at his. But the calm didn't last.
Oh, wow. She does look great, No Name. She does. Marsha Clark. She wrote a book. I have it, but I haven't finished it.
Emergency. Can you get someone over here now to 325 Gretna Green? He's back. Okay, what does he look like?
Now, what does that sound like? That he spent the night there, or that he had been abusive, left, she had already called the cops, and he's back.
O.J. Simpson.
Wait a minute. We're telling the police. What is he doing? Is he threatening you?
I'm going nuts.
OJ had heard a rumor that sent him into a jealous rage. That Nicole had been hosting parties where there were drugs and group sex.
If she was being influenced by drugs or anything, maybe she might have been making the wrong decision.
Let's go ahead and ruin her character. And she's on drugs. Not OJ though. He's good.
I just know I didn't want any of these people around my kids.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, has he threatened you in any way, or is he just harassing you?
You're going to hear him in a minute. He's about to go.
Just stay on the line.
I don't want to stay on the line. He's going to beat the
Wait a minute. Wait, just stay on the line so we can know what's going on till the police get there, okay? Okay, Nicole?
Uh-huh.
See, that's the sound of somebody that knows they're about to get beat.
On that 911 tape that everybody hears me yelling, I'm saying I don't want these girls around my kids. And that's the only thing that argument on that 911 tape was about. I went to her house and read her about riot act.
Sure, she wasn't crying and terrified. I was just getting a little loud.
What does he say?
See, there you go. You didn't care about the kids when you had Keith in the living room. What girls was she around?
Just stay on the line, okay?
I did what any father and would do. And yet, people listen to that tape and made me this horrible person. Whenever they hear that 911 tape, can you believe he's yelling at her about this? Well, when the cops came, it became apparent. She said, I was yelling to her about this and only this. That's the only reason I was there, reading her the riot act, is I don't want these people around my kids.
That's not reading somebody the riot act, but you watch him raise his eyes and look how he's looking. That's a fact that he wants known.
Let's talk about the
Then he gets
911 tape.
nonchalant about it, huh?
Did you think about that? Nicole was exhausted. She told her close friends that she was finally done with OJ.
Hey, Talisa, good to see
but
you.
he wasn't done with her.
Exactly. You don't want your kids around those kind of people, but you don't mind your kids hearing their mom get the hell beat out of her. Oh, and screamed and cussed out. Oh, okay.
Up next, OJ describes what might have happened the night Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman were brutally murdered.
And Nicole was nuts that week. I mean, it's just craziness.
It's a story he hasn't told before.
I
Here
don't
it
think
is.
any two people could be murdered the way they were without everybody being covered in blood. I think he's confessed to murder.
And one you will never forget.
It was absolutely horrible.
The only thing that convicts
I'm telling y'all, get ready to be shook.
our lives is our dream. What's your emergency?
Welcome back to O.J. Simpson, The Lost Confession.
Those kids could have found her like that. He didn't care. Yeah, they absolutely could have. Every ex-husband has the right to decide who here. Yes, yeah, me too. Reminds me of mine. Rest his soul. Yep, he's about to tell on
Let's
himself.
listen as O.J. Simpson describes what he did on the night his ex-wife, Nicole Brown
I'm
Simpson,
sorry if I'm missing
and
comments, y'all. It's hard to watch it on the phone.
her friend Ronald Goldman were savagely murdered.
I agree, Warrior Grandma.
Nicole, now 35 years old, made a decision that the unhealthy cycle between her and O.J.
Hey, Alan.
had to stop.
Hey, Pink. Good to see you.
On May 22nd, 3 weeks before her murder, Nicole returned an expensive birthday gift that O.J. had given her, telling friends, I broke up with him. I finally feel free. I told him I can't be bought. On June 10th, she went property hunting in Malibu, hoping to put some distance between herself and the man who wouldn't let her go. 2 days later, she would be dead. You are about to hear O.J. Simpson talk about what he did on the day his ex-wife was murdered.
Let's talk about the day of June 12th, 1994.
Yeah.
Tell me about getting ready for...
Can you imagine having this much? What is it? What even would be the word? Cockiness? To do this interview, to write the book, but to do this interview. Hey, Pamela.
your daughter's recital? Just take me through the day.
It was a long week. I had been to 3 or 4 cities that week. I was totally exhausted. My friends in New York tried to get me to stay in New York that Friday, play golf Saturday, and then go straight to Chicago where I had to be Monday morning.
Right,
But my
Blonde.
daughter was having a recital, and I had already missed, I think the week or 2 before, I was out of town, and I missed something. I forget what it was, something that my daughter was having. So I couldn't miss this. So I said, I got to be there for the recital. And I flew into town, and I just wanted to go there, see my daughter, and leave.
Sure. You just wanted to go in and check out Nicole.
And I talked to Nicole briefly that day. She had called and asked if I could get
Arrogance. Thank
if
you.
I could get there early and hold
Balls.
seats. And I said, I don't think so. Which she did. And when we got to the recital, she had actually held me a seat with her and the 2 kids, right?
There was something that you write in the book about what Nicole was wearing.
Yeah, it was almost like she was trying to be a teenager again. Dating all these much younger guys, wearing the shortest, tightest thing she was wearing. And
Which, let's remember, he was dating young women. So he wanted to control what Nicole wore. And the fact is, she did not save him a seat. They did not want him sitting with the family. Yes, if you're here, please hit the thumbs up.
Sometimes you think something is inappropriate, but you don't say anything. What am I to say? Tell her what to do, you know?
So you're at the recital.
Yeah, I was just exhausted, but everything was cool. And during one of the breaks, Dr. Fishman pulled me aside, and Cora Fishman is Nicole's best friend. His daughter's my daughter's best friend to this day. And Dr. Fishman said, "Man, Juice, you won't believe what's going on. These girls," he is telling me that they had fights, and Nicole was nuts that week, right? I mean, it was like, what are these girls doing? I mean, it's just craziness, what they were saying. I said, man, get away from them. I told you, these girls, whatever's going on is bad, you know? And this comes right
I
after a
think so
week
too,
previous
Nevaeh. I think so too. Well, he had, yeah.
to this. Her best friend, Cora, had come to my house in tears, begging me to do something to get Nicole away from the people she was hanging around. Somehow the prosecution didn't want that in the case, right? I don't know. I was upset. It upset me.
The Brown family, Nicole's parents and
For sure,
sisters,
Abe.
were also at the recital, and there were plans for a family dinner afterwards.
Which OJ was mad that he wasn't invited.
At Mezzaluna, that local Italian restaurant. They recall OJ asking to come along, but Nicole said no.
What kind of frame of mind are you in when you
I'm
leave the
tired.
recital?
I am tired.
Irritable?
I don't want to sleep. I'm irritable. When you get tired, you get irritable. Right?
And then you read about chipping golf
Notice
balls
this laughing. I don't know what he's.
into the neighbor's yard. You write, usually when I pick up golf balls, the world disappears, but this time I couldn't get her out of my head.
Yeah, I'm thinking about my kids and what.
No, you're not. I don't believe that. I think he was thinking about, I'm actually going to lose her. No, I'm not. I'm not going to lose her no matter what. That's what he's thinking about.
Mentioned to me.
What comes next is OJ's hypothetical account of what he
Same, Abe. Same.
says happened on the night of the murders. So, Judith, how did you shape this conversation around?
A hypothetical unless they had committed the murders.
O.J. Simpson never took the stand at his criminal trial and has never given an interview about his actions on the night of the murders. That is, until now. Listen closely for the next 6 uninterrupted minutes. O.J. puts himself hypothetically at the scene of
Warning.
the crime.
The chapter 6 is called The Night in Question. And you write in the book, now picture this and keep in mind that this is
Purely
hypothetical.
Hypothetical.
Yes. Why don't you tell me what might have happened on the night of June?
I swear to the wall. Why would he do? I can't believe he wrote this book
12th, 1994.
and then
And
did this interview.
Let's just walk through the night.
Well, first of all, this is very difficult for me to do this. It was very difficult for me because it's hypothetical. I know and I accept the fact that people are going to feel whatever way they're going to feel.
Because they know that you're looking at them like, they know that nobody could hypothetically tell what happened that night. No one except the one person that was there. And and his makeup partner, Charlie, who I don't believe existed.
They're gonna whatever they want to feel. In the book, the hypothetical is
Charlie pulls that up.
Charlie. This guy Charlie shows up, the guy who I had recently become friends with, and I don't know why he had been by Nicole's house, but it told me you wouldn't believe what's going on over there.
I do agree with that, Abe. I do.
And I remember thinking, well, whatever's going on over there has got to stop, right? So we kind of hooked up together, and I'm kind of broad stroking this.
Now, this was the night of his daughter's recital still. So what was going on over there? That rambunctious dinner that you didn't get invited to?
We go over, get into Bronco and go over.
Let's just go back and do the details. Where did you park?
To the detail.
You park
in the hypothetical in the alley.
Right. You park in the alley.
Yeah.
And you put on a wool cap and gloves.
Yes,
in the hypothetical, I put on a cap and gloves.
Right.
Yeah.
And You reached under the seat for
a knife. I always kept a knife in the car for the crazies and stuff because you can't travel with a gun. And I remember Charlie saying, "You ain't bringing that." And I didn't, right? But
You can't travel. Oh, you know what else is illegal? You cutting people's throat, stabbing them. Yeah, that's also illegal.
believe he took it.
Charlie took the knife?
Yeah. In the book.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the back gate, you go through the back gate.
Yes.
And it was open or broken or?
I know, string cheese.
I don't recall.
Okay.
I go to the front and I'm looking
I
to see what's
don't
going
recall.
on.
I don't recall.
And I can see that it appears like Nicole had candles all the time. She really did, to keep her overhead down, I think. And music was on. And while I was there, a guy shows up.
So Ron Goldman.
Hey, Maud, this is him confessing without confessing. But you notice how many times he messes up and says, "I saw this, I did that."
Comes in the back gate.
Yeah. A guy I really didn't recognize. I may have seen him around, but I really didn't recognize him to be anyone. And in the mood I was in, I started having words with him.
He says to you, "I just came by to return a pair of glasses. Judy left them at the restaurant."
Now, that's what Ron Goldman says to OJ.
Yeah, words to that effect, yes.
And
I don't know if I believed it or didn't believe it. It was pretty much immaterial because
I don't know if I believed it or didn't believe it.
I was more concerned about everything that was going on, and was
No, you was pissed off because they didn't let you sit with them and go to dinner with them.
fed up with it, I guess. And
you get into a fight. Nicole comes out.
A verbal
fight.
Yes, Maud. Yes.
Got a little loud, and by that time, Nicole had come out, and we started having words about who is this guy, why is he here, what's going on.
And she says, "This is my house. Get the F out of here."
Yes, and which I didn't like because, once again, this is the same person. And if you read the book, you'll see some things that happened in the 2 weeks leading up to this.
Supposedly, in the 2 weeks leading up to this, for those that haven't read the book, OJ and Nicole had been dating. And so I don't believe that. I just don't, because then why couldn't he sit with her at the recital, and why couldn't he go out to dinner? They had in the book he says that they had been trying to get back together and work it out, and both of them together decided it just wasn't working. And yeah, that's so.
That were very, very irritating, and I think Charlie had followed this guy in, wanted to make sure it was no problem, and he brought the knife. As things got heated, I just remember Nicole fell and hurt herself, and this guy kind of got into a karate thing.
That's what made him mad. And it seems like, if I don't believe she fell, I think he probably stabbed her or punched her.
And I said, "Well, you think you can kick my ass?" And I remember I grabbed the knife. I do remember that portion, taking a knife from Charlie. And to be honest, after that, I don't remember, except I'm standing there and there's all kind of stuff around, and
what kind of stuff?
Blood and stuff around. I hate to say this, but this is hypothetical. I'm sorry.
Right.
I know
It's so funny.
we got to back up again.
Right. That's okay. I want to back up.
Oh, I swear he sucks.
This is hard. I know. I want to back up to.
I hate to say this, but this is hypothetical. When I took the knife.
I think that I'm.
I know. You wrote in the book, "I had never seen so much blood in my life."
Yes.
Hypothetically, right?
You're covered.
The scene. Can you describe it?
It's hard for me to describe it. I'm telling you, I don't think any two people could be murdered the way they were without everybody being covered in blood. And of course, I think we've all seen the grisly pictures after. So yeah, I think everything would have been covered in blood.
And what goes through your mind at a time like that?
I don't know. It's like, what happened?
All right. You write about removing a glove before taking the knife from Charlie.
I had no conscious memory of doing that, but obviously I must have, because they found the glove there.
Well, not only did they find the glove there, but you obviously removed the glove before you did the stabbing because there wasn't a hole in the glove and your finger was cut. So there would have been a hole in the glove where the knife cut the glove. I'm just saying.
And blacking out. Have you ever blacked out before?
Not to my knowledge.
No.
Never killed anybody before, so I haven't blacked out yet. I have now.
No, of course, if something like this would take place in anybody's life, if it were to happen, I would imagine it's something that you would probably automatically have trouble wrapping your mind around it. It was horrible.
I agree, Taylor Swift.
Horrible.
Do y'all believe that he blacked it all out, or he has a little bit of memory about? Oh, I bet, Pink. I can't imagine what it was like after this trial. Is there any more of the interview? Yeah. You think he remembers it? He blacked out nothing. Notice how his body language is off. His body language is a lot different. Because I watch a lot of interrogations, and usually when they're, well, that's not true. When they're confessing, it's like this weight's lifted and they start leaning towards the interviewer. Now, when they're lying and trying to be innocent, they have their hands crossed, they're sitting back. That's why I think I'm a detective, but I'm not.
In your shirt and dropping it in a bundle. Do you remember that?
There are 3 sources of blood there: Ron's, Nicole's, and LJ's.
For the first time, he tells us all the shocking details.
Where are the bloody clothes? So somebody had to get rid of the bloody clothes.
Who did?
Next.
That's what they think that Robert Kardashian got rid of.
Welcome back to
Yes, prickly pear. I've been waiting to do this for years.
Never Before Seen interview, in which O.J.
You do,
Simpson
Mystic?
has already revealed staggering first-hand details about the crime scene, which he says are hypothetical.
You wrote in the book, I had never seen so much
Heather.
blood in my life.
Yes. It's hard for me to describe it, I'm telling you. I don't think any 2 people could be murdered the way they were without everybody being covered.
Now, notice that. It's hard for me to describe it. It's hard for me. This is a complete confession.
Then you see bloody footprints and you decide to take off.
Yes. Actually, I believe Charlie kept saying, we got to get out of here.
I don't believe there's a Charlie. Maybe
in the book you described taking off.
If you notice, none of Charlie's footprints were found. None of Charlie's fingerprints were found. None of Charlie's blood was found.
Your shoes, your pants, and your shirt and
There was
dropping it
no
in
Charlie.
a bundle. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And do you remember what happened?
Because what are you going to do with it? Somebody's got to get rid of, as you may have called during the trial, it said, where are the bloody clothes? So somebody had to get rid of the bloody clothes.
Right. And you had left your keys and wallet in your pants pocket, and you had to go back and get it?
To be honest, I
Yes,
think
he is
I
Charlie.
know that to be true, yes. Yes.
And Charlie is hysterical, screaming, Jesus Christ, OJ, Jesus Christ. And you tell him to shut
he's
up.
in a
Yeah,
panic.
Robert Kardashian did turn his back on OJ, and then he came out and said that he just thought that all the blood evidence made him look guilty. So I don't know that he's the one that got rid of the clothes. Who was the guy that was driving the Bronco that day? AJ Cowling? Was that his name? I might be wrong, but I think it was AJ. Taylor rules next. AC. Thank you, Lacey. What part of this is hypothetical? No, the only hypothetical parts are the parts where he just ever so lovingly, went to visit Nicole that now and then, and they laughed over the phone about their dates.
Was in a panic, and I'm telling him to
Yes.
shut up. Let's get out of here.
So you get back in the car, you taken your clothes, put them in the bundle,
and drove back and it parked a block away because I knew the limo would be there, and came across the backyard through the 2 tennis courts, and came through the house.
So you went through the neighbors.
Neighbors, yeah. He had a tennis court, then I had a tennis court.
And you go into the house, and what happens in the house?
I ran upstairs to take a shower. I actually ran upstairs and took some of my bags and came back downstairs and put them out front.
OJ was due to catch a late flight to Chicago,
Which he could have flown those clothes to Chicago and got rid of them in Chicago,
where he was scheduled to play in a Hertz golf tournament the next day.
And then I get dressed and I come back down.
And then you get in the car and go to the airport.
That's correct.
You sign autographs?
Yeah.
And you wrote in the book that you were asleep before the plane took off.
Virtually, yeah.
Early the next morning, OJ was awakened in his Chicago hotel room by a call from the LAPD.
When did you cut your finger?
To my knowledge, really,
Yes,
when I got the call the next morning, and this is the truth, when I got the call the next morning saying that Nicole had been murdered, was killed, was dead. I kept saying, what do you mean dead? Killed, or whatever the words they use. I said, what do you mean? And as well, we can't tell you anything. We're still investigating, but where are you? And when can you get back here?
That's not true. When they called, they said Nicole is dead, and he said, "Wow, okay, I'll be back." He never even asked the officers how she died. We obviously know why he didn't ask, but he never asked how she got killed, how she died, why she was dead. So, and remember, he got Cato, who's just walking free to this day, giving interviews and getting paid for them, to say they went and got a burger. And that was a lie.
And I think I actually went in the bathroom and it was dawning on me.
Right, Lacey.
I didn't really throw a glass. I just was, and when I was putting it down, it just smashed,
Police believed that the cuts on OJ's hand probably came from the fingernails of one of his victims.
Or they came from the knife, because I've never heard of anyone stabbing somebody and them not getting cut themselves with the knife because it's so slippery. So that's what I always thought.
Went downstairs. I was bleeding at that point. I went downstairs and asked the lady on the desk for a Band-Aid. And I knew that I signed so many autographs, and even when I had arrived the night before, there was people, and I signed autographs, and I knew I wasn't bleeding in any way at that point, but I knew when I was leaving I was. And I ran to the airport, and I ended up forcing my way on a plane. It was sold out, and somehow I told them that my wife had died. And
hey, Joy Lane, good to see you. Isn't the Bronco going? Yes, it is. I saw it. I have a selfie with it.
I got to get out of here. And they got me on.
You write in the book about speaking with Nicole's mother and her sister, Denise.
Yeah.
Yes, Nevaeh.
Do you remember what that conversation was?
I think Denise yelled at me something once.
Yeah. You wrote in the book that Denise yelled at you,
Yeah.
you brutal son of a bitch, you
Yeah,
killed her,
something like
I know
that.
you killed her.
Yeah.
And what did you say to her?
I don't know. Yeah. Denise and I never really had much of a but then again, she didn't have much of a thing with Nicole. Yeah.
Oh, was Elizabeth? Nicole didn't really like her sister now. Come on, let's ruin that right quick.
There was a lot of jealousy there.
Let's start the beginning. And Chris, since you know this timeline of the crime so well, what do you make of O.J. Simpson's version of what happened next?
What people need to remember about that crime scene is that there are 3 sources of blood there. Three sources
Your
of
thoughts?
DNA on those bodies, and in that Bronco, and it's Ron's, it's Nicole's,
Oh,
and
I
it's
think
OJ's.
I can't
So when
believe
he
it's
says
taken
that
this
he
long.
didn't begin to bleed until he got to Chicago, that's a complete.
Yeah, we know that's a lie. He got cut.
Take a look.
So you get back to LA.
I get back to LA and what now we're out of hypotheticals here.
Right.
I get back to LA and my lawyer and my
Well,
assistant.
anybody. The reason that Nicole's family hated him was because they had beat on their sister, daughter, etc. That's why. Had obviously nothing to do. What were they jealous of? Her being with OJ? No, they weren't jealous. He just wants to make Denise look bad.
Pick me up at the airport and we're driving. And my lawyer wants me to go to his office. We need to get to the office. We need to discuss what's going on. And I said, no, I spoke to the police officer, and I told him, he told me they needed to see me and for me to get home as quick as I can. And I said, no, take me to the house. And they said, come on, OJ, we need to sit down and discuss. I said, I don't care. Get
Then I have it, Joy Lang. I just haven't read it.
me to the
I
house.
got it.
So when we got to the house, there was media everywhere. We pulled up to the Elm Gate. I jumped out, went to the gate. There was a uniformed officer there and told me he had to handcuff me. I said, handcuff me for what? They said, well, I'm sorry, I got my
They've just made such a big deal because poor OJ got handcuffed.
orders.
Now, the cops wanted to interview you, and Howard Weitzman says Mr. Simpson is in no condition to talk right now, and you say no.
I said, they need my help to find who did this. I don't care. And I'm a voracious reader. Everybody knows I go through 2-3 books a week. Now I'm reading all this fiasco stuff, but political stuff. But normally I read mystery books, and I know don't talk to the Lord, don't talk to him. And if you talk to him, you got to make sure it's recorded. So I told him, no, I will talk to him. I'll do anything I could do to help them solve this case.
Yeah. And you said in there, I needed to know what they knew.
Yeah.
What the
Man, I need
cops knew.
to tell me something. Nobody
I needed to know what they knew. There you go.
told me anything. All right. So nobody told me anything. I don't know what they know. They're giving me this runaround.
So then how could you help them if you didn't know what was going on? He thought he could slick talk his way out, which I guess in the end.
In any event,
Oh, really, Beef Bergs? That's wild. Hey, Forgotten Whispers. Absolutely.
I
Forgotten
spoke to
Whispers.
him. I told him what I knew. I told him everything about myself that they asked, answered all their questions.
You haven't had any problems with her lately, have you? Okay. I always have problems with her. That's our relationship. It's been a common relationship.
Despite being briefly handcuffed, OJ was not under arrest. And after being questioned by detectives at police headquarters, he was released into the custody of his attorneys.
OJ, are you a suspect? David, I told you before he wasn't going to say anything. I know you got to ask the question, but give us a break here.
What was the hardest thing for you at that time? That you write in the book that you couldn't believe that people thought you were a murderer.
It was hard to believe that it seemed so easy listening to TV that week that it was that easy for people to believe that I could kill 2 people. I thought that
The news started coming out about how abusive you were, like right when she was right. If y'all remember when it happened, it came out that Nicole and Ron were gone, and then they would play 911 calls from OJ. Knock it off.
my whole life meant something. I thought the type of guy that I had lived my life, being pretty upstanding guy. I mean, like everybody had my faults, like most men in my position. Sometimes temptations of the flesh is there, But
Look, all men, stupid. That's all men.
for the most part, I've always thought I was a straight shooter.
Mhm.
In any event,
Murderer. Yeah.
that was
Straight shooting murderer.
hard for me to accept that it was so easy for people to believe that.
No, y'all, that, in my opinion, is complete arrogance. That's arrogance. Thinking Yeah, I just about cut her head off, but I couldn't believe that people thought I did it. I couldn't believe that people. But if you remember when he's running, I mean, everybody remembers the chase, the Bronco chase. There were people standing outside cheering him on. Run, OJ, go, OJ. We believe in you, Juice. Remember that? Thank you, No Name. I appreciate that so much. Thank you.
With his house at Rockingham under virtual siege from the media, OJ sought refuge at the home of his good friend Robert Kardashian, where he was reunited with his children.
I want to talk about what you said to your kids the first time you saw them after the murders.
Well, I had asked Judy Brown not to tell the kids. I felt that was my place to tell my kids. I had to
No, I don't know. I find that odd. Why'd you?
sneak out of my house the next day because it was like Troy. It's like the siege of Troy there. And the lawyer was able to get me out of the house. And Al Cowlings had gotten my
Exactly, Abe. Exactly. I agree with that. Hey, more than enough.
kids, and we had met up on Mulholland Street Drive, and we are going to go to Bob Kardashian's home. And I just recall my kids getting out of the car and running across this Mulholland Drive and jumping in my arms. And I was trying to just find the right time to tell them, right? And right before it was time to go to bed, I read them a story, and I started to tell them.
Well, that was what better time than a bedtime story and tales of murder? Okay.
About mom, and I want to tell them that mother had gone to heaven. But Sydney said, "No, I know, Dad, Mom's in heaven." And I think I think I was in shock up to that point, but I think that moment is when I broke down. I mean, literally broke down, because the way she said it, it was not like, it was sort of sad, but not. She had no idea that she had lost her mother. She had no idea how this was going to affect her life. She had no idea that, it was almost like
really, Taylor Swift. That's interesting that you thought he was in it. There's a lot of people that thought, well, there was a lot.
Mom's in heaven, and I knew that this would have a profound effect on her life. And I think that was the first time that that the pain was almost unbearable.
I want to talk about the wake. And you write, I was so out of it that I actually remember thinking, awake for whom? Who died?
Yeah, I mean,
sure, I bet he thought that.
They had put these drugs in me, and they tell me I would sleep all the way there. I don't even remember, like the funeral. I always tell everybody, I don't remember the funeral. I see pictures of Sydney and I kissing.
Seeing Nicole and leaning over and kissing her.
Yeah,
can you tell me that story?
Yeah. Well, no, it was tough. I just remember seeing her there.
Didn't you hear about his freak out screaming at her graveside? Look what you made me do. Cops had to be called because people were in fear of the gravesite. Had to be patrolled for a bit after. No, I don't think I've ever heard that.
And I still had so many feelings of, if you're angry with a person upon their death.
Hey, Patty. Good to see you.
Like that anger disappears, right?
Miss you.
And because of the 911 call, when I'm yelling at her about what's going on, it was almost like I want to say, I told you, didn't I tell you? Didn't I say to you, it's whatever the hell was going on, what I mean? Didn't I? So you still got those kind of feelings in you.
No, Abe, I'm not monetized.
Deal with, I'm not going to be able to say this to this person. I'm never going to be able to change this person's mind. I'm never going to have an effect on this person again.
What did you say to her when you leaned over and kissed her?
I don't know if I said anything, to be honest with you. I'm told that that some person said they heard me say, I'm sorry. I just recall Judy Brown pulling me over, looking me in the eye and saying to me, OJ, did you have anything to do with this? And I know I told her no.
Okay, so a lot to dig in.
I see, yeah, moderator.
One of the most chilling things is he's so angry, talking about an incident that happened 7 months earlier. That 911 call is 7 months before the funeral. And he's reciting it as, I told you, didn't I?
Right. And he's saying, I'll no longer be able to affect this person or to change this person's mind. That's what he's saying as he's standing over his dead ex-wife's body. He's not thinking about the
Amen,
brutal
Abe.
way she was
Amen.
killed, the
I
suffering.
know. I can't
All he's
believe that. I
talking about
can't
is his
believe how
Listen to
confident.
what they're saying about me.
What was OJ really thinking inside the Bronco?
I was so depressed at that point, and I was having, I would say, probably suicidal thoughts.
Oh, possibly suicide. You know, he left a suicide note. He was saying that he was holding a gun to his head, but I think everyone knew he wasn't going to do it. No, Pink. This was recorded in 2006. This was because he wrote that book. So when he lost rights to the book, they didn't show this interview until 2018.
Next.
Welcome back to O.J. Simpson, The Lost
Damn,
Confession.
really?
While O.J. spent most of his last week as a free man holed up at the house of his good friend Robert Kardashian, his attorneys negotiated his surrender to police. It was agreed that O.J. would turn himself in at 11 a.m. on June 17th, 5 days after the brutal murders. But O.J. would never show up.
There's a warrant issued for your arrest. When you find out about this, what do you do?
And
Well,
didn't he have a suitcase full of money, or he had quite a bit of money with him?
Again, I was so depressed at that point, and I
think he did.
And I was having, I would say, probably suicidal thoughts. All I know is I wanted to see where she was buried, and I wanted the pain to stop.
O.J.'s childhood friend, Al Cowlings, known as AC, arrived at the Kardashians expecting to drive O.J. to police headquarters.
Mm-hmm.
It was at that time that we discovered for the first time that O.J. was not present. Al Cowlings was not present.
And then I told AC, they were waiting to take me to the jail. I said, AC, take me to her gravesite.
Hey, Davida.
And then when we got in the car,
I want to go through that.
I actually said, take me to her house. But when we got there were cops everywhere. So I said, take me to her gravesite.
Why did you want to go to her house?
I don't know. That's when she was last alive. That's, I hadn't seen it. But I do know I wanted to see where she was buried. I knew I was going to have to, I just knew this was going to be a long ordeal. I was in so much pain, I just wanted it to stop. I didn't think I could bear it. And I kept saying, I can't be locked in a cell right now. My kids need me right now. And And I just wanted
They
the pain
needed their
to stop.
mom,
so
too.
I said, take me to her gravesite with a lot of thoughts as we were going down there and talking to AC as we went down there.
What did you say?
Just talked about
the weather,
life, and remember that time, and stuff like that,
3 hours.
You remember that time? Remember that time you killed Nicole?
Hours after the
5 days
deadline
ago?
for surrender had passed,
Ron?
the LAPD held a press conference announcing that O.J. Simpson, having failed to turn himself in, was now officially a fugitive.
The Los Angeles Police Department right now is actively searching for Mr. Simpson.
I agree with that, Forgotten Whispers. I completely agree that they messed up from the jump.
O.J.'s attorneys held their own press conference to read
But I also think that the Rodney King case had a lot to do with the turnout of this one.
from a startling note that O.J. had handed his friend Robert Kardashian before getting into the car with AC.
To whom it may concern.
Oh, good. They're good. I didn't know they were going to read this on here. I didn't get to this part. So this is supposed to be a suicide note, I believe.
First, everyone understand I had nothing to do with Nicole's murder. I loved her, always have, and always will. If we had a problem, it's because I loved her so much.
In the note that you left with Bob Kardashian,
yes,
you write, if we had a problem, it's because I loved her so much. Can you tell me what that means?
I loved her to no end, and always loved her. I think what happened, it became reverse of what she said to me when she wanted a divorce. I loved her, but I didn't like her. I wasn't in love with her. That's what she had said to me, to get a divorce. And I kind of figured that's where we were at the time of her death. I loved her, but I wasn't in love with her, and to some degree, I didn't really like her.
I don't, Heather. I think he would have spent the rest of his life trying to get out. I don't think he would have ever hurt himself.
Don't feel sorry for me. I've had a great life, great friends. Please think of the real OJ and not this lost person. Thanks for making my life special. I hope I helped yours. Peace and love, OJ.
I want to talk about other things that you wrote in that note.
Yes,
if
okay.
we can. Please think of the real OJ and not this lost person.
Well, if I'm going to commit suicide, you are certainly not a person who is together. At that state in my
What, call it? I don't think I understand that, but
my life, if I'm going to commit suicide, I am obviously, not the person that I wanted people to know me to be, that I felt that I was. So, I thought I'd always been a pretty good guy. I don't think any athlete had ever had.
I think he had been very, very, I don't want to say sheltered, but they covered up all of his tactics. And this one, he couldn't get anyone to cover up. That's what I think.
Goodwill of the public that I had. I mean, certainly no better than the goodwill that I had. And in 3 short days, from Monday to Friday, or 4 short days, just listening to the TV screens, to see all of that goodwill evaporated.
Did you feel lost?
In many ways, yeah. It's almost like you were. Ron and Nicole were physically dead, and it's almost like they killed me. Who I was attacked and murdered also.
Y'all heard it. He said it. Yes, he said that. Wow.
In that short period of time, and once again, I to this day, it bugs me that it seems that people wanted me to be guilty. That really bothers me.
By late afternoon, the search for OJ had made television history.
Colette, I think you really need to catch up on what really happened.
Local stations deployed choppers to hunt for the white Bronco, and when they found it, the nation was transfixed.
Yes, Davida, yes. Here we go. Here's the case.
This is a special report from ABC News.
I'm Peter Jennings at ABC News headquarters.
Now, here's a fun fact. That is not OJ's Bronco. That is AC's Bronco. Because he looked up to OJ so much that he bought this identical Bronco that OJ bought. I don't think Robert Kardashian would have gotten rid of the clothes. I think if anybody did, if he didn't get rid of them in Chicago, this guy got rid of them. And if he's ever done an interview, I haven't seen it yet, but we will look for him.
Let's immediately go to a picture in Los Angeles. We're interrupting 2020.
The major TV networks went into special report mode, breaking into regularly scheduled programming, even interrupting the NBA Finals.
We will send it to NBC News. Here's Tom Brokaw.
Thank you, Marv. We are looking once again at pictures of Al Cowling's cars. It makes its way along a freeway in Los Angeles in the south central part of that area. And we are told by the California Highway Patrol that O.J. Simpson is in that car holding a gun to his head.
100 million Americans, virtually half the country, were glued to their televisions.
The vehicle is registered to Al Cowling, a former teammate, close friend of O.J. Simpson's, who is a fugitive from justice now.
For more than 2 hours, Al Cowlings navigated 75 miles of L.A. freeways with his old friend hunkered down in the back.
Driver of the Bronco indicates the subject is in the vehicle and he is armed and has a gun to his head. All units stay back.
All units, stay back. We would not want OJ to hurt himself.
I'm going to go back to the Bronco, and if you can just give me some of the details of what you said to each other and some of the...
Well, going there, it wasn't a lot of conversation, but basically it was just...
You had a gun.
Yeah, but it was in the bag in the back at that point with the pictures and stuff. The police like to say it was with a passport. I always had my passport there. They said I had $10,000. I think I had like $3 and something and change. As a matter of fact, when I was let out of jail, I after my trial, and they were giving me all my things back, all the stuff that was in the Bronco that was mine back. I said, "Where's the $10,000? Where's my $10,000 that you guys claimed that I had?" Right, which was totally false. And in the event,
what are you thinking? You're in the car.
Well, you're not gonna skip country with only $10,000.
I'm in the back of still in the back of the truck, and I can't believe what I'm seeing, because every time we go by intersections, it was like, where did these people get the time to make these signs, go OJ and stuff? And what was strange is I was being...
What an ego boost that was. Imagine. That's an ego boost. Go OJ, look.
Depicted as a fugitive on the radio, but from the side of the roads, it was more people cheering.
OJ says what made him snap out of it and decide to bring the chase to a close was pride.
I just remember listening to the radio, which I think was Dan Rather. It really saved my life.
Right.
Because when he said that OJ had a history, police were at their house all the time, 8 or 9 times, that was the first time that week that I kind of woke up. Hey, man, listen to what they're saying about me. I say, see, this is BS what they're doing here. Get me to my house, right? Take me home. And we immediately called the police. The AC told them where we were going.
As AC
Let any of the one of us try that bullshit.
pulled the Bronco into OJ's driveway at Rockingham, a standoff ensued as a
No, Trailer Swift. He did not get a charge.
negotiator urged OJ to put down the gun and exit the vehicle with his hands up.
When we got to my house, I saw a sniper on the roof, and I, you get defiant. They've been telling you this, they've been saying this stuff.
Get defiant. I'm sorry, y'all. That struck me. When I saw the sniper, I got defiant. They'd only asked me to pull over 111 times. I wasn't defiant up till I saw the sniper.
About you, I got defiant. So I wouldn't get out of the car. I was just mad until I saw my oldest son, Jason, run across the road. And somebody grabbed him. He said, "That's my father." And then I say, "I got to get out of this car. I don't want him to get injured."
The police now know where he is. We have found him. The door is opening, and let's see what happens now.
O.J. Simpson is in custody. He has been transported here to Parker Center. He is being booked and processed. That'll include prints, mugshot.
What y'all want to bet they went through a drive-through, got him something to eat, a blankie, got to take a long hot bubble bath when he got to jail?
Sounds very convincing when he talks about being suicidal and being desperate and being...
I disagree. I don't think that he sounds suicidal at all. I think he thought he was going to get away with it because of who he was.
His whole life socializing. And most people don't realize that I was in solitary confinement the full 17 months I was there. One of the sergeants would go...
I've heard that somebody sat with him the whole time.
Quite his way sometime to talk to me through the cell, but I had no one to talk to from morning to night.
Right, Dale, Starbucks.
Obviously it was horrible. You are so
Right where your
at
grandma.
the mercy of your jailers. For instance, the first time I had to make an appearance in court, I looked so bad. I had no tie on. But what the public don't know is they woke me up every 15 minutes. They rattled my cell, turned on the lights. They alleged I was on suicide watch, but all night long, they woke me up.
That's what happens when you pretend you're going to kill yourself, OJ. They wake you up every 15 minutes to make sure you're still alive. Sorry you didn't have time to put on a tie.
They made sure I sat up in bed and looked at them. Now, you go through that all night long and see what you look like that day in court. And I looked horrible that day in court.
Mr. Simpson, do you understand the charges as I've read them to you? Yes. And have you discussed those charges with your lawyer, sir?
Yes.
At this time, do you wish to enter a plea guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Apart from his arraignment, OJ would not be seen again until his trial began 6 months later.
Been busy with real life stuff, but wanted to say, hey, Mercedes girl, it's good to see you. I don't know that he got to stop at the cemetery. I don't think he said, though.
You were looking at inmate number 4103970, O.J. Simpson.
Up next, OJ's reaction to the trial of the century.
There's no way they can convict me of this.
Why he's still mad at Nicole.
I've cursed her. I've been to her gravesite, and why? What the hell?
And why he agreed to tell all.
Oh, I want to see this. I skipped. I just listened to the confession.
You've heard O.J. Simpson tell us hypothetically what he says.
And I haven't seen this probably since 2018.
Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend Ronald Goldman were murdered. Next, he tells us what he really thought of the trial of the century and why he is still angry with his late ex-wife.
Are you ready to enter a plea at this time? Yes, sir. How do you plead to counts 1 and 2? Absolutely 100% not guilty.
The Los Angeles County District Attorney has just filed murder charges against Orenthal James O.J. Simpson.
For nearly a year, the so-called trial of the century was must-see TV.
There is an amazing, ravenous appetite for information about O.J. Simpson.
In 1995, just 3 years after the LA riots, the debate over...
Which is, in my opinion, what they were trying to not have happen again.
OJ's guilt or innocence divided America across racial lines.
These white people, excuse me, but that's the way I feel about this here situation, trying to set the brother up.
The prosecution was confident they had a slam dunk case.
Y'all remember how they picked poor old Marsha Clark apart at first? Her hair, her outfits.
I've never had a case with so much evidence in my entire life.
Traces of the victim's blood was found in Simpson's car and at his home.
And it's the kind of evidence that causes defendants to be convicted.
You guys thought you had a slam dunk case. Marsha Clark said, I have never tried a case with so much evidence. She sounded incredibly confident.
Contrary to what people might think, we were seasoned veterans in the DA's office, and we understood that there's more to a trial than just the evidence.
Man, imagine living there. I don't know that if I didn't have to work back then, I would have tried to go every day to the trial.
Right? And we're not talking hypothetical yet. That's how I felt. There was a lot of talk. And we're not with the universe. There's no way they can convict me of this, right? And we're not talking hypothetical yet. That's how I felt.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of talk that
she looked shocked.
Who knew the
Why would he feel like
my
that?
cell and told me the night before, which is totally BS. Everybody that I came in contact with at the jail, which was run by the sheriff department, told me I was going home from the moment Mark Furman got off the stand. When Van Adder and Furman testified, all the guys at the jail said to me, whoever was watching me at the time said, you may have did it, you may not have did it, but you're going home. The minute the jury knows these cops are lying, and they're lying, they do not.
But they weren't lying. They weren't lying. It just turns out Mark Furman had a bad past and is not a good guy. They weren't lying.
If they think a police officer's lying.
What was your reaction when you heard that?
They didn't plant the glove. We know that.
I told all the lawyers, we met, and I said, I don't want any celebrating. Then I told my mother that the night before, and my sisters. I don't want no celebrating because 2 people are still dead. And I don't want anybody celebrating if the verdict is positive towards me.
I don't believe he said that. 2 people are still dead.
Most Americans continue to believe that O.J. Simpson got away with murder. But some still maintain that he is innocent, a victim of racist cops and the media. And even though he was acquitted in the criminal trial, O.J. didn't get off scot-free. In 1997, a jury found him liable for the double murders in a civil trial. He was ordered to pay the victims' families $33.5 million in damages.
The money is not the issue. It never has been. It's been making certain that one man,
And this sweet man, he outlived
the
OJ.
man that murdered my son and Nicole, is held responsible by a court of law, and it's happened.
Do you feel that you've lived the life of a convicted man in many ways?
Thank God the public has not forced me to live that way. The media has tried, but the public hasn't.
So what's it
it's
been like?
curious that I go places and the public will come up to me, hug me, ask me how the kids are going.
You write in the book, I realized that with respect to your children and telling your children, I realized that neither of them really understood what had happened to Nicole, let alone the long-term effects that her death would have on their lives.
I wonder how they feel today.
What
I wonder if they'll ever give an interview. Probably not, but
long-term effect has it had?
Well, you know, I may see it in, you know, I don't like talking about my kids. I got to make it clear that, and my kids have told me, Dad, you said you weren't going to talk about us, don't talk about us. But I will go so far as to say this.
But I will.
Sydney especially had enough time with her mother to establish a work ethic. You know, she was accepted in every college that she applied to. They both went to the schools of their choice. They're both in college. For what these kids have gone through, even if they hadn't gone through it, I can't imagine having two better kids.
Do you talk to them about their mother? And
that's something that my kids ask me not to discuss. It's nobody's business. And just to say that, you know, I feel totally loved by my kids. They know that they're very loved.
Sydney Simpson was only 9 when her mother was murdered on the front steps of their home at
just babies. And to think now they're in their 30s is
Bundy
like,
Drive.
what?
Her brother Justin was 6. They were asleep upstairs that night, and police woke them and took them out the back door so they didn't have to see the crime scene. We don't know what their relationship with their father is like today, but OJ says he has never tried to erase Nicole's memory.
Do you have a picture of Nicole at home on the wall?
Yeah. No, it's in the living room. It's Nicole, me, and the kids. It was the last real group.
Yeah, that's not weird. That's not weird at all.
Picture we took together. So it's right there prominent in my living room. And my kids keep pictures of her in their room.
Do you believe in heaven and hell?
Yes.
Do you believe that you're going to see Nicole someday?
Yes, I do.
You do?
And my mother, my dad, I surely did.
And what will you say to her?
Hey, you know, I haven't thought of that. I would hug her. She, you know, if there's a heaven, there's a hell. They know. I don't have to explain anything. They know.
You confessed during this interview, stupid. I think he forgot.
That's what heaven and hell is all about.
Do you ever talk to her in your mind?
No, I prayed to her. I've got on my knees and said, hey, look, I've cursed her. I've been to her gravesite, and why? What the hell? Look at these kids. Look at Sydney with no mother. You know, I've done that. I've done that.
No, you done that. You done that.
That is what most domestic abuse partners do. They connect violence and love.
May I add something now that all makes sense? Because I remember during that time, the family got a call from the cemetery and said, he's here. And they said, excuse me? And they said, he's here and we're scared because he's screaming.
Thank you so much, Crazy Daisy. I appreciate that.
At Nicole's grave.
Oh, jeez.
Just screaming at it. And the family said, well, call the police.
Did you know that?
No. I've never heard that before. You know, he's really revealed himself.
Within a year of that 2006 interview with Judith Regan, OJ was in trouble again.
This is the state of Nevada versus Orenthal James Simpson.
Arrested in Las Vegas for armed robbery and what he maintains was an ill-conceived plan to recover sports memorabilia that he claimed belonged to him. He was sentenced to 33 years in prison, but was paroled after only 9 and released last October.
I've basically spent a conflict-free life.
Mr. Simpson, I do vote to grant parole.
Thank you. Thank you.
How do you think you will be remembered?
You know, we talk in this book
This ought to be a good answer.
about hypotheticals. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, everybody is going to give their opinion. They're going to hypothesize what this book means. You know, he was guilty or he was purging his guilt. Whatever you want to take from it, I cannot control it. We cannot control what you think. My friends and family know that. So whichever reason why I did it, you decide. You read it, you decide.
Any thoughts?
You know, he thinks he's so clever, he's so manipulative, he's all of these things, but at the end of the day, he doesn't really manipulate anybody because who he is on full display.
Does hearing from O.J. Simpson bring you any closure? Does that bring Denise any closure?
I don't think you can bring closure unless you can bring Nicole back. All I really care about is that Nicole gets a decent understanding here.
Well
What
said.
would you like people to remember about Nicole Brown Simpson?
Just the sweetest, the most decent, the moral compass of a lot of us. An incredible
Agree,
mom.
moderator.
She was a really good person.
Thank you all for this conversation. I know it's been difficult. I know it's been really grueling, actually, but I appreciate all your insight. Today, O.J. Simpson lives in Las Vegas and is a free man.
Remember, this
They're
is
the ones
old.
that abandoned me.
But 12 years ago, as the intense interview wound down, O.J. Simpson showed some regret.
Anything else?
Nothing for us.
No.
Okay. No.
All right, good.
Yeah. I'm done. Guys, I tried my best here. I'm done. No, we've done what I need to do.
Okay. Is it hard? Do you feel like spent?
No, it's just that this portion here just, you know, I love that girl. Yeah. It hurts too. But hey, it's what it is.
You've listened to him for nearly 2 hours, and many of you may think you've heard a confession. But there will also be viewers who have always believed in O.J. Simpson's innocence, and still do.
And I don't see how they could after this. I don't see it. I don't think that they could ever, anyone could ever watch this and think that, you know who's innocent? OJ. Hey, Starlight. It's good to see you. Now I gotta let the chat catch up. Because I was on StreamYards the whole time. And my phone. I wonder if I can help it. No. I just really, really, really thought that was good. I'm so glad that I found that. And I really appreciate everyone that interacted because I've been wanting to talk about this for, y'all know, forever. And now I can. Oh my gosh, I cannot get to the bottom of the chat on the YouTube side. I'm still on where. Dang, my chat's behind. That's okay. Let me get back on. Here and see. I would love to know how people think. Me too. Just to find someone that would come on and they had no tears at all. Someone that would ever make a stream and say, you know who I want to debate? Somebody that thinks OJ's guilty because everybody knows he was innocent. No, actually, I think everyone knows he was guilty. And the two jurors and why they chose not guilty. And I think we'll do that next week for sure, Rainbow. I think that's a good idea. Thank you for coming in, by the way. Good to see you. Jealousy and control will make a person go crazy. And I think so too, Brenda Hart. And I think he just never thought he would ever go to prison. And I think he really thought he could rob those people at gunpoint and not go to prison. And it obviously didn't happen. He only spent 9 years, but at least he did 9 probably easy years in prison. But all right, I don't know how long I've been on. Let's see if it'll tell me. How long have I been on? An hour and 40. Well, we got through that pretty quick, actually. I mean, it was like a 2-hour interview, but some of it just wasn't worth watching. In hell, he will have to wear gloves that are truly too small. Oh, Colette, are you watching a different stream, hon? I think it was interesting. I'll tell you what else is interesting if you go, because Oprah filled her audience and um showed the verdict live and to see how the people reacted. I thought that was interesting. I had forgotten about that. You too, Forgotten Whispers. I may review this if that. Sure. Thank you. Okay, Colette. I'm sorry. I just misunderstood. Oh, I see. I see. I just misunderstood some of the stuff that was being said. You almost at an hour. I'm over an hour. Chat can be confusing. I get it. Well, I get mine. Gotcha. Gotcha. Colette here. She knows things. That we don't know, and that's just all there is to it. Um, but that was a good idea. Read her book. Rain. It's very. I will, Joy Lang. I will. Um, so next month we are going to the beach, and for the drive there and back, I've got some audiobooks marked, and I've been putting off reading or listening to OJ's book again. But this, since he passed away, it just kind of piqued my interest. So, and it's been a while since I read it, and sometimes I don't know. It's one of those books that I've went back and read 3 times so far. Right, Hello Starlight. For the first time ever, we are seeing the ocean, and we're getting to do it together, and I'm pretty excited about that. So, you know. Smart. Elizabeth Smart's book is horrific but brutally honest. I haven't read that. Remember when yeah, Brenda. Does anybody remember when yeah, it is on Audible, Calamity. I went to go get it on Audible, and I already had it on Audible, and I bet you Marsha Clark's book is too. Um, do y'all remember when Nancy Grace, who I love Nancy, I know some people don't, I do. Um, but Elizabeth Smart went on Nancy Grace, and she did not want to talk about the kidnapping, and Nancy kept pushing her, and she got up Nancy's ass and put her straight. It was great. It's a great moment. I'm so Midwestern. I didn't know the ocean was salty. Yes. You do. See, Dale? Like, what is this shit? Why does the water taste bad? Does it burn your eyes? I bet it does. Oh, we are Forgotten Whispers. I cannot wait. First of all, we really need a vacation. Second of all, it's just from the pictures, it's beautiful. We are going to Orange Beach, which is connected to Gulf Shores. Hello, Starlight. Let me ask you this. Amanda Knox, I've not read her book because I don't know if I believe she's innocent. In fact, I'm pretty sure I think she's guilty. Yeah. I don't think Amanda Knox is a good person. You think she's innocent? I don't know. I wouldn't go on record and say that she's guilty, but I wouldn't put an put my hand on a Bible and swear that she was innocent either. How damn dare you? I'm sorry, I can't go down. I read a book. I used to think she was beyond innocent, and then I just got to watching some stuff, and I was like, maybe she's not. I don't know about the sack. That don't make you a murderer just because you're a freak in the sheets. They basically caught the real killer. Now I didn't know that. I know Ginger snapped. I know. Let me just go ahead on and check your. I just don't really think my stream is the stream that needed to announce that. I'm just saying. I will leave Amanda alone. I do, and I even think that I follow her on Twitter. But not that she follows me back or anything. If yes, please, Olivia. But if she wanted to look, y'all hit Amanda up, and if she wants to come on, thank you, Lori D. Thank you. If she wants to come on panel, I'll give her a listen. I did buy a 2-piece shamat, but it's not one of those ones I wore when I was in my 30s. It's one of those ones that you wear when you want to wear a bathing suit, but you don't want anybody to see anything that's under the bathing suit. Yeah. On her blaming her boss man. That's that's one of the things that makes me think that she had something to do with it. Why did she do that? Why did she blame a completely innocent man to get a thong bikini? Well, it is a thong, but it also has a skirt for the top. So you're looking at me. You're like, is it a thong? Is it a dress? Is it a what is that? But yeah, Abe knows his stuff. Look up Rudy, whatever that word is. Goudet, G'day. What is Gypsy doing? I swear. Hello, Starlight. What? I hate Gypsy now. Thank you, Brenda Hart. I'm so excited. I can't wait. No, I didn't get a thong. They're like boy shorts. Mm-mm. Listen, one thing I'm not in denial about is my sexiness. Jimmy thinks I am. That's all that matters. Yeah, right. Warrior Grandma. Okay, good. Everyone subscribe to Hello Starlight. There is her channel. She will be live tomorrow about Jip Jip. Jip Jip is a big old liar. A liar. A liar, liarton who lies. I left him because he hoarded food, and that reminded me of my mama. Why couldn't she just say, I wasn't happy in the marriage, I wanted my ex? I'm telling you, I think that would have went better for her. Jim deserves a thong. Oh, Jim. He'll get more than, never mind. Use your imagination. He's taking me to the ocean. Jim's going to get lots of stuff. Patterns. Yes. Now I'm wondering, listen, Starlight, I'm wondering, did she lie about her mom? And I'm not talking about every single thing that her mom did, but it's pretty easy, I think. Not when you're this many years in. Like when you're this many years in as me and Jim, we've got way too much stuff together to ever try to split up. We're in it for the long haul. Going to go into why I don't think she was a victim of. Who's MVP? Is that her mom? Why are you using initials? Who's MVP? Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Brenda Hart. Listen, I'm not gonna. Hey, JP. I panicked. I'm like, there's a player I don't know about. Damn youth and their abbreviations. I don't think she'll. Now I'm starting to think she wasn't. I used to feel sorry for her a little bit. I never did like Gypsy though. But if there's ever anyone in the world that I would not begrudge a nose job to, it was Jip Jip. But I do, and you know that probably makes her dad feel like shit because that's where she got that nose. But he's a good looking man. She even with his nose, I think she had a chromosomal disorder. She still has it. I'm telling you. I hope I can be there. If not, I'll catch the replay. Please, if you're not sub to Starlight, get in on the Jip Jip conversation because Gypsy is a whole ass her mama. I hope that she never has children. Yeah, me too, JP. At first I felt sorry for her. Then I thought about it, when she would jump off and try to act like she couldn't walk. She did have one. Has one. You can't get rid of those. Look, I was thinking that's why I said I hope she never has kids. There's the link, please. Yes. Hello Starlight's kicking ass with the content right now. Yes. I knew what you meant, Starlight. I'm not a bully like, you know, Ash. I hope to catch you one day and discuss. Yeah, I love discussions like that, like this gypsy thing, and but I think me and Starlight feel the exact same. Oh, she said Ash. You gotta admit though, Ash knows her shit when it comes to all this stuff, and she will correct you quickly about I won't be an ass, I promise. Well, that would be a change, Abe, but I will go on, and I'm almost afraid to say this, but you've been a pleasure in chat tonight as far as I've seen, and I really appreciate that. Ash hasn't done her JIP homework, and I haven't done all of it. But I see stuff and I'm just like, what's that guy's name? Cinema Shogun. I love him. And he's on it. Me and him, it's like we think the same thing. Thank you, cousin Trixie. I appreciate that very much. To listen to Fancy about Gypsy, but she didn't get to the point, and I could look, same. Same. Sorry, Fancy. You had your one chance and you let me down. Yeah, leave Fancy alone. Yeah, I think this was a great stream. I enjoyed it so much, and I enjoy y'all. Thank y'all so much. Don't forget to get on Hello Starlight's link right there. Right there it is. And subscribe, because tomorrow she's going to have a good stream. Yeah, Maud, well, I'm not monetized right now. Give me a little over 60 days. We're going to try for it again. And if it don't work, feel free to hit me in the PayPal. That won't hurt my feelings at all. Or the Cash App, which is hashtag Randy931. Thank you, Brenda. I enjoyed this very much. Y'all have a good night, and I'll see y'all soon. Bye, y'all.